Welcome, learning architects. Today we are unlocking a superpower every L&D leader needs, turning tension into transformation. We have all seen it in different ways, be it when a manager pushes back on new compliance protocols, when a debate erupts over best practices, or when a room falls silent after you ask, "What's holding your team back?" That's not awkwardness. That's raw material for growth. The truth is that adult learners don't need another lecture. They need space to wrestle, to question, to connect theory to their reality, and you, the facilitator, are their guide through that journey. In this session, you'll learn how to reframe resistance as curiosity, unlock breakthroughs in moments of friction, design tension intentionally to close skill gaps. By the end, you'll walk away with tools to turn even the toughest rooms into incubators for real-world mastery. Let's dive in. Facilitation isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about creating an environment where every voice matters. A great facilitator doesn't dictate solutions, but instead steers discussions with curiosity, asking, "What if?" and "How might we?" to encourage deeper thinking and collaboration. It's about balancing structure with flexibility, keeping conversations focused while allowing room for creativity and diverse perspectives. Your role isn't to have all the answers, it's to guide the group toward discovering them together. The best facilitation feels effortless, but behind the scenes, it's a skillful blend of active listening, thoughtful questioning, and creating psychological safety for real learning and growth to happen. Today, we'll focus on 3 key values: preparation, adaptability, and neutrality. Mastering these will set you apart as a facilitator who leads with confidence and impact. Let's start with preparation, because great facilitation doesn't happen by accident. It starts long before your session even begins. Imagine walking into a training where the facilitator is unprepared. Slides aren't working, questions aren't thought through, and the session feels chaotic. Frustrating, right? Now, compare that to a facilitator who has a structured agenda with clear objectives, delivering engaging materials tailored to the audience. When you're prepared, you create a seamless experience where learners feel confident in the process. So, take the time to plan, anticipate challenges, and ensure your session runs smoothly. Even with the best preparation, things don't always go as planned, and that's okay. That's where adaptability comes in. Picture this. You've planned a structured discussion, but suddenly your learners start debating a different topic related to your session. Do you force them back to your script, or do you use that moment to deepen engagement? Great facilitators know when to pivot. They adjust based on group dynamics. Read the energy in the room or virtual chat. They keep discussions relevant while allowing organic learning moments. Being adaptable means staying in control without being rigid. Flexibility keeps your training dynamic and effective. Preparation isn't just an agenda, it's strategic foresight. Let's break it down. Define outcomes, start with the end in mind. Ask, what must this group achieve by the end of the session? Know your audience. A VP needs different data than a frontline manager. Anticipate landmines. What's the real conflict behind the debate? Is it resource scarcity? Competing KPIs. A pro tip, use our facilitator's pre-session planner to map stakeholders, risks, and fallback activities. Even the best plan faces curveballs. Adaptability means being able to read the room and notice a raised hand. If there are side conversations, pause and ask, is this resonating? Don't get bogged down in the software. Sometimes switching tools may be more effective. Ditch the slides if energy lags. Try a quick poll. Raise your hand if you face this challenge. Parking lot. If debates spiral or if questions are not on point with the current conversation, say, let's park this for now. We'll revisit at a later time. Be sure to have a list of parked questions to answer when time permits. Always clear your parking lot. Let's take a look at a real-world example. At a Fortune 500 merger meeting, a facilitator scrapped the script and used silent brainstorming when tensions flared. Result? 15 actionable ideas in 10 minutes. Neutrality isn't indifference, it's curiosity. Here's how to master it. Firstly, ask, don't advocate. Change your verbiage, replace "I think" with "help me understand." Paraphrasing passion is also a great skill to have. A frame of reference such as, "So Maria, you're concerned rushing the launch risks quality." Javier, "You're worried delays lose market share." Let's explore both. Another skill to assist you on this path is being able to spot bias blind spots. In order to do so, some self-reflection and understanding of natural biases is necessary. An example of this is if you're a former engineer, consciously elevate marketing and sales voices. Pro tip: use our bias mitigation checklist to audit your facilitation habits monthly. Putting this into practice, let's dissect a real-time training example and how preparation, adaptability, and neutrality turned compliance training into a win. Meet a global retail company struggling with mandatory compliance training. HR needed 100% completion to pass audits. Employees found the content dry and irrelevant. Completion rates stalled at 25% and frustration was rising. Let's see how changing their learning and development offerings bridged this gap. Preparation started with data. The training team surveyed employees, managers, and HR to identify key pain points. What they found was that their modules were too lengthy. The amount of time allotted for training did not coincide with how long the training was, and that's a problem that's fixable, but that has to be identified. Another issue being reported was that there wasn't enough real-world examples for the employees to train on. A practical training would greatly assist for the hands-on time necessary to master a task. Lastly, the survey showed that a one-size-fits-all approach was not working. Although training was available, the training being offered did not align with employees' career goals, and so they didn't complete it. The business stakes that come with compliance meant that there were fiduciary issues that came with non-compliance. With fines up to $2 million for non-compliance, it was imperative that the team reach the needed threshold of compliance-adherent employees in order to maintain their certifications and accreditations. So completion was a necessity. The agenda? Redesign training that respects time and drives accountability. When the team resisted another lecture-style course, the training team adapted. The team thought, let's scrap the slides. What if we simulate real compliance dilemmas? If we add micro-learning, bite-sized scenarios, learning activities that can be taken in less than 10 minutes, we may be able to get more traction. Gamification is a great way to engage learners. Leaderboards for departments with top completion rates were implemented to promote engagement. Badges and leaderboards always gets a bump in the employee engagement and training completion. For the training team, neutrality meant honoring both sides. For our HR partners, we wanted to answer the question, how can we meet regulations without overwhelming teams? For our employees, we wanted to be able to answer the question, what would make this training worth your time? By creating co-design sessions and storyboarding between teams, we were able to come up with scenarios-based workplace incidents. The results? The team came up with a blended learning program. Phase 1 included 5-minute daily scenarios on mobile devices. Phase 2 included live workshops for Q&A with compliance officers. Phase 3 meant implementing monthly compliance champions recognized at town halls. Some of the outcomes from the change to blended learning included 89% completion in 30 days, 42% fewer safety incidents in Q3. HR also reported that employees now report issues faster. They get the why. But how do you sustain engagement in a hybrid world? In Chapter 5, we tackle facilitating virtual courses, where flexibility meets accountability. Let's talk about a moment every facilitator will face at some point. A participant pushes back and says, "This won't work in the real world." This kind of statement can create a moment of tension. It might come from skepticism, past experiences, or just a natural resistance to change. But here's the key, this is an opportunity, not a problem. Your response as a facilitator will determine whether this moment leads to disengagement or becomes a breakthrough for learning. A great way to do this is with the 3-step tension breakthrough framework. Pause and acknowledge, call out the moment. I hear some strong perspectives here, let's unpack this together. Reframe and redirect shift from resistance to curiosity. What's another way we could look at this? Guide and bridge, connect back to the main goal. How can we apply this to what we're learning today? This approach shifts energy away from conflict and toward problem solving. And that's where breakthroughs happen. Active listening involves paraphrasing to confirm understanding. Time boxing allocates strict time per topic to maintain focus. None of these responses help. Instead, let's talk about what works and will help transform your training to help your trainees take flight. When a participant challenges an idea, use this 3-step approach to turn tension into a productive discussion. First, pause and acknowledge. Recognize their concern without shutting them down. Say something like, "That's a great point. Let's explore it." 2. Reframe and redirect. Instead of debating, turn it into a conversation. Ask, "What challenges do you see?" Or "How could this be adapted?" 3. Guide and bridge. Connect the discussion back to learning. Say, "Let's look at how we can make this work in different scenarios." This approach shifts energy away from resistance and into problem solving. It makes participants feel heard while keeping the discussion constructive and forward moving. Here's how this plays out in a real training session. Imagine a learner says, "This won't work in the real world." Instead of defending, you respond, "That's a fair concern. What challenges do you see?" Now, instead of a debate, you've opened the floor for discussion. The learner is engaged, and now you can work together to connect the content to their real-world experience. Utilizing the pause, reframe, guide, and redirect approach enhances facilitation by fostering reflection, encouraging alternative viewpoints, maintaining engagement, and keeping discussions focused. Pause, create space for reflection and clarity. Let's pause for a moment to reflect on what we've just discussed. Does anyone have additional thoughts or questions before we move forward? I want to take a moment to acknowledge the points that have been shared. Before we continue, let's take a deep breath and ensure we're aligned. Reframe, shift perspectives to deepen understanding. Let's look at this from a different angle. What if we approached it like this? Redirect, keep the discussion aligned with key objectives. By integrating pause, reframe, guide, and redirect, facilitators can lead more structured, engaging, and impactful training sessions while ensuring discussions remain purposeful and aligned with learning objectives. Here's a quick facilitation tip. Avoid oversteering by not solving problems for the group. Ensure quiet voices are heard, preventing extroverts from monopolizing airtime. Remember, facilitation is more than a skill. It's a lasting impact. It's about cultivating a space where every voice matters and every idea holds value. The goal isn't just to run a meeting, but to create an experience where participants walk away thinking, "That was worth our time." Teams should leave not just with solutions, but with a shared sense of accomplishment, knowing we tackled this together and we're ready for whatever comes next. By mastering facilitation, you'll elevate your leadership and create an environment where collaboration isn't just encouraged, it thrives. You'll guide discussions with purpose, ensuring every voice is heard and every idea is valued. The result? A culture of engagement, innovation, and collective success. Becoming a trainer is often a challenging role. Download the essential tools and take charge of your meetings with confidence. Transform conversations into meaningful, actionable outcomes that drive real progress. Step into the role of a facilitator and create a space where collaboration leads to lasting results. Great work! You're building the foundation of facilitation, not just as a skill, but as a lasting legacy. The way you guide conversations today shapes stronger, more collaborative teams for the future. In the next module, we'll explore even more techniques to help you lead with confidence and impact. Let's keep going.